Welcome everyone to our daily Forex market analysis call. This is in preparation for trading on August 23rd, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, especially right now when we have summer trading conditions. So please be careful with your trading. It's best to take a small trade size. Okay, so we'll start off as usual with our economic calendar. So looking at our calendar today, we just had the PMI numbers that came out today. On Thursday here, we have the biggest thing here is the GDP number for the British pound, which is coming out at 4:30 a.m. Eastern. And then we have, And then we have unemployment claims for US and also existing home sales and mortgage numbers. It is also the first day of Jackson Hole Symposium. And for us, what that means is that Yellen will be giving her speech. So that's that could create volatility in the market. So we have to be careful with that. And then on Friday, we have, Yellen is speaking on Friday, and it's day 2 of Jackson Hole Symposium, and we also have Draghi speaking on Friday here as well. So tomorrow, it's just the beginning, even though I would suggest paying attention to the news feed. If there are any comments from any of the participants, that could move the market. Other than that, these home sales and employment numbers will have an impact during the New York session. But aside from that, I think it will be okay. So let's move on to the charts here. We'll start off with Euro US dollar. So Euro US dollar is still in the range here. For the last 3 days, we haven't done anything. So a market, again, going into Jackson Hole Symposium here, market will be watching to see the comments out of both Fed and ECB as well. So Jackson Hole is supposed to be about central banks, about monetary policy, and so forth. So lately, we have seen a lot of central bank driven moves in the market. So what is market really looking for? Market is looking to see when will Fed start to cut back on their balance sheet, and for ECB, when will they cut back on their asset purchase program. So both of these are ways to reduce the monetary policy that we have been following, the loose monetary policy that we have been following for a long time. So that's what, those are the two important things. So how does that play out? If we hear comments about Fed wanting to start paring back the whole balance sheet, reducing the balance sheet come September, that will be positive for the US dollar, and we are likely to see the US dollar go up. Excuse me. And if we see, or if we hear from ECB, so ECB President Draghi has basically said that he's not going to talk about cutting back the asset purchase program at Jackson Hole. However, market will still be looking for some sort of comment or a hint around that. So if there is any sort of discussion around them starting to pare back on the asset purchase program in September, that will be positive for the euro. And that's why euro is actually up there, because everybody's expecting ECB to announce the date on when they will start reducing the asset purchase program. So those are the two main things that we need to focus on. So if there's any commentary around them doing that, we're likely to see euro go up. So based on our daily close here, we are bullish on euro. However, that doesn't really tell us much, because euro hasn't done much over the last 3 days. We have been in this very, very tight range here. This is where we've been trading for many days now, last week and this week. So we are heading back into our resistance of 1.1830 level. And if this holds, then we're likely to see it come back. And in that case, we are looking for it to come back into this 1.1730 level. If it goes above this 1.1832 level, then we are looking for it to go all the way up into 1.1892 or 1900 levels. So those are that's where it is. So basically we're trading it as a range bound market. If it goes into 1.1830 level, we're looking for a potential short. So this is where it has been. It's just waiting on news essentially. And if it starts to if it holds below that, then we're looking for it to come back into this. Even I like this number here, so 1700, 1.1700. That's a good target to the downside. So this one we are, so let's say neutral on this, because it is a very, very small range that we are trading. So range bound market in terms of euro. Pound here, pound is bearish. We saw it drop. We saw this big drop and then follow through on that. So based on that, we are bearish. Next target level we are looking at is 127.50 level, right about here. And below that, we are looking for 126.90, so 12700 level. So again, with Jackson Hole starting tomorrow, be very, very careful with any US dollar related pairs, because any comments out of anybody, President Trump, Fed officials, any Fed officials could move the market. So pay attention to the news feed. That's what I would say. Excuse me. So this is where we are in terms of our 4-hour and 1-hour chart. So 1 hour here, we are holding below this previous support or resistance level. So 1.2800. So as long as price stays below this level, we're looking for further move to the downside. So we're bearish on pound dollar. Aussie dollar. Aussie actually has been bullish. So it did yesterday. We had a bearish candle close, then we did get a follow through, but now we see rejection at the bottom. So this little pin here shows rejection. But again, keep in mind, going into Jackson Hole here, we are likely to see US dollar hold its strength. And a reason for that is because right now, with everything that is going on in the US, with the US economy is doing well overall in general. The inflation numbers are not great, but overall though, economy is doing well. And we have, but the US dollar is not very strong. Interest rate has been going up, so technically it should be, or fundamentally US dollar should be strong, but because of the politics, it has not been very strong. So there is room for Fed to continue on their path of monetary policy tightening without really having too much of an adverse impact on its currency. So even if they start sort of decreasing the balance sheet, they will not have that big an impact on US dollar. So US dollar trade balance or exports won't really go up, or the price won't really go up that much. So that's just kind of from fundamentals perspective going into Jackson Hole. That's what it looks like. So here, based on the candle formation here, I see rejection of this level, 78.80, but because we have fundamentals playing a role here, we do need to keep an eye on this. So for this one, I would look for, I would be neutral on this. So we're looking for price to sort of go into that 79.50 level. However, this level right here, which is 79.20-ish level, or even into here, 79.20 level. So that will be important. If the price holds below that level, which is our R1 here, if it holds below, then we're likely to see it come and test the 78.80 and potentially even drop lower into 78.66 level, which is basically our S2 level. So the bullishness in Aussie, I would take it with a grain of salt, is what I'm saying. So it can come down as long as it stays below 79.20. We could have a potential drop. New Zealand, we had positive data come out here not that long ago. So now, big drop here. So we're looking for a follow through to the downside. In this case, looking for a price to push into 72.50 level and then drop from there. So the type of move I would be looking for is this here. And the first target would be 71.80 level, and then below that we are into 71.20 area here. So this is bearish. If we go slightly into the lower time frame, this is the place we're looking at, 72.50. Price did test this level earlier, and we are looking for a test of that again, and then a drop. So this is where we are currently. We could push back slightly more. I would be reluctant to do a short just yet. Yeah, so we need to see if it pulls back. Another option is two different options available here. One, we could do a pending short order, so at 72.50 or even slightly higher, see if the price goes all the way to 72.80. Other option is to just kind of wait and see till price gets there and then do a drop, or we could just, or one could take a short here and place the stop on the other side over here, so it has lots of room to work with, but then that makes for a big stop. Here, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is bearish. However, we are starting to flatten out here, and today we saw comments out of President Trump saying he wants to renegotiate NAFTA, and that could be problematic for the Canadian dollar. And the reason is because US is a big trade partner with Canada, and if they do renegotiate, or sorry, he didn't say renegotiate, sorry, he said there is it is not possible to renegotiate NAFTA, so we're going to cancel it altogether. So if they cancel the free trade agreement, what that means is that the trade between the two countries, there will be a lot of taxes as a result of that, which means that Canada will actually lose out because Canada is a bigger exporter to the US than US is to Canada. So that's what's going on. However, market is not taking it as a real sort of threat at the moment, because everybody believes that the trade is required between the two countries, so it would be detrimental to both sides, because there's a lot of stuff that Canada exports from the US. However, it is to be seen. So over the next little while, as the negotiations are proceeding, if we start seeing a lot more comments about getting rid of NAFTA or stuff like that, not being able to reach an agreement, that would be negative for Canadian dollar. So we have to be mindful of that. For now, this looks bearish, and I'm looking for price to drop down towards 124.80 level. So actually, let's look at our 1 hour chart here. See how price for the last 3 days, we haven't really moved much. So it's just flattening out at the moment. And that is problematic, because what happens is it could just do a test low and then start going back up. So that's why it's very, very important to keep track of those comments. All right, so here, Euro Swiss franc. Euro is pushing up higher. We do see a big rejection pin over here, but it is still pushing up higher. So in this case, we can move this slightly higher now that we have a real number here. 1.1420 level will be the level that we'd be watching if the price, so I'm expecting the price to push into that level. But the thing is, if it comes back down like this, there is an opportunity for a potential short. However, we have to watch euro and see what the euro is doing. So right now, Swiss franc is weak, so all the Swiss franc crosses are, or at least euro Swiss franc is certainly pushing up. So we have to be mindful of that. If it starts to close on the other side, then we're looking for price to go back up. So right now, I'm looking for a potential target into this support and resistance level, which is at 1.1420 level. and from there looking for price to drop from there. So this is a little bit of a neutral position, still looking for a push up, but not a big push up. So I'm expecting it to come get into resistance. So pound Swiss franc is a completely different story because pound has been very weak compared to euro. So big drop. Our bias is to the downside, so I'm looking for price to pull back lower, or sorry, price to go down lower. In this case, we're looking for pullback into this level, a 123.70-ish level. It could go higher into 123.80, so be careful with that one, but overall the bias is to the downside with this one. And in terms of targets, we are looking at 12300 as the target for this. Dollar Swiss franc, we did get a bearish candle closing, but it wasn't as big as this one. So here is the support and resistance level that we were watching from before here. So right now, let's go back here. This looks bearish. So as long as it closes below 96.40 level here, we're looking for a further move to the downside in this one. Again, with any US crosses, just be mindful of the comments that come out. So 9600 is the level that I'm looking for price to get to. In terms of the pullback, this one looks good. So 96.67, so we could push into that level and then drop from there. Target would be 9600. So it is, pullbacks are one of those things that can be hard, especially with the yen crosses, because the price tends to start moving here. So let's take a look at this one, pound yen. So pound currently is inherently weak. It's weak against all the currencies. So with this pound yen, we have broken through this 139.80 support level here. So now we could see the price go back and test this level once again. So this is a trade that I am in currently. So price could do one of these. So be mindful of that. So our stop loss is on the other side of it, but we are getting into these lows here. So these lows from before. So that's what we have to be careful about. 13900 is the next support and resistance level here, but we could get a pullback and then a drop here. So overall, it is bearish, but look at this, price has moved quite a bit. So now we are right into the market, the bottom of the market, which means we could get some retracement. So this one, we just have to keep our eyes open. So this is the previous level, 139.80 level, where the price could pull back to. And then I'm looking for a drop from there. So I will keep an eye on it just in case we need to manage our position, but for now our targets are set. Okay, euro yen. Euro yen has not done very much, just like euro itself hasn't done much. So this one is neutral, not the best pair to trade. So we'll just call it neutral, and we are looking for price to push back into 129.80 and then drop from there to 128.30. So very, very narrow range for that. Aussie yen. Aussie yen, nice drop in Aussie yen here. And now we're looking for, as a result of the bearishness here, we're looking for a continuation move to the downside. But again, we are coming into these strong support and resistance levels. So that's something we have to keep in mind. 86.33 is the potential pullback level. So I'm looking for price to push up into that level and then drop from there. So the type of move is this, and then the target would be 85.70 level to the downside. So overall, though, this looks bearish at the moment, but again, caution, because Japanese yen is right into all kinds of support right now. Okay, dollar yen. Dollar yen is also right into that bottom with lots of support. coming up here. In this case, I'm looking for a pullback into 109.20-ish level, and then a drop. It could pull back slightly higher into this level, 109.37 level as well, and then a drop to the downside. But based on the daily here, that's a bearish candle close, and I'm looking for follow through to the downside. But again, we are right into support, and price could pull up, retrace more than expected. Euro pound here, very, very bullish, looking for further move to the upside. The target here is 92.80 level. Euro Aussie, bullish as well, looking for further move to the upside. It could pull back into 149.00, and then the next target will be 1.50 level. CAD yen here, again, looks bearish, but Canadian dollar is strong. So in this case, I'm looking for a move. The first target will be 86.55, sorry. In this case, it could go into, pull back into 87.20 level, and then do a drop from there. And that's all. Any questions or anything to add? Okay, so I'll take that as a no. Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll just need to monitor that, that pound yen trade. And that's it for me. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening.